At CrossFit Stonecutter, our purpose is to inspire, enroll, and lead all willing athletes and organizations to achieve excellence by teaching them the physical and mental skills necessary to transform their bodies, minds, and cultures. It is our firm belief that by doing so, we are enabling them to achieve their goals, support their families, and improve the world around them. Hello and welcome to Pound the Rock Podcast, Episode 2, with my dear friend Randy Mott.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you so happy to be here for a second time today?
I am. I was smiling when I pulled into the parking lot. It's like we're going to go 2.0, or times 2, something like that.
Right, Randy. So let's tell the viewers what happened last week, shall we?
Yes, heck yeah. We had an awesome interview.
You did so awesome. I'm so sad that nobody gets to hear that one-time chance of a story from Randy. But unfortunately, last week, our recording disappeared. So,
we donated it.
Yeah, we donated it to cyberspace,
that's right.
I guess, if that's what you want to say. But so Randy's so gracious to come back for week number 2 and discuss with us the Phoenix program at Stonecutter. I'm going to see if I can keep it fresh rather than like how we talked about. Yeah, repping that Phoenix shirt, looking real nice. There's a lot that comes with wearing that shirt,
That's
have
right.
learned.
I've already had that experience. I wore the sober shirt during the Houston Marathon, and they were hecklers.
Really?
With like the beer carts right down the road, and yeah, it was kind of disturbing.
Are you serious?
No, yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, I was because I'm very comfortable where I'm at in my sobriety, but it didn't affect me. But I thought, wow, how would that affect someone who's not so comfortable, is not so stable?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made me kind of, and I kind of let it pass. I did have some reactions, but I overall just kept running.
Yeah. Leaving them in the back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning so people know what in the world we're talking about this Phoenix business. First and foremost, Randy is a member at CrossFit Stonecutter and has been here 2 years.
2 years.
He is an avid exerciser is what I describe you as. Because everyone's always like, is he an ultra marathon runner? Is he CrossFit? I'm like, he's like everything. If you give him some sort of active anything, he's like, I'm in. Yeah. Burpee mile, like why?
I'm not smart enough to say no.
No, I think you like to challenge yourself is really the truth of it. So Randy was here, CrossFit Stonecutter, kind of like the beginning of Stonecutter. And prior to that, you were an ultra marathon runner.
Yes.
And prior to that, tell me what's prior to that.
Okay, prior to that, Randy I've always been just average Joe. I played all the sports, but I wasn't athletic. I was just, I was the guy on the team. So always had fun. I played baseball, played football all through high school and college. Not college. That was a joke. That was a slip.
That was a dream, maybe.
Yeah, that wasn't even close to. I haven't even watched a college football game. So. Yeah, it was just a guy, our small town, played some baseball, and that was it. No desires, really. Oh, that's all my friends were doing, so that's why that was it. We did have the Dogwood Dash. Now it's a 5K, but when I was in high school, it was a 10K, and I ran it every year. Now, I wasn't a runner. I was on track in middle school, but I, disc and shot put, 150-pound guy. But for some reason, when that came around, I signed up every year. It was $10 or whatever it was. And I ran it, and it was weird because now I know I had no business running that. But I can relate to that now because it's all about, I didn't train for that. I didn't run track. I wasn't a runner. But I ran that every year, so now I see it like, okay.
Not much has changed, I don't think, right?
Yeah, not much has changed.
Still not training for them and kicking butt.
Well, like in CrossFit, I do train for those runs. So in our theory here, I do train for them. As a runner, I don't train for them.
Right.
So with the runner's mentality is, doing 50, 60, 70, 80 miles a week. No, I don't do that.
That's insane. People really do that?
Oh, even more than that. Yeah, way more than that. So, yeah, a lot of folks run more 100 miles and up per week. Now, this is like elite level athletes, but a lot more than 20. Like this year for the Houston, I ran, I think, 27 miles total training for the marathon. And
not per week training for the marathon, just total.
Total, but I wasn't trying to break any record. I just wanted to finish. I just wanted to get my, I ran it this year and move on, and that's what I did. So
how did you make it into the marathon world? You went from playing sports in high school, found a wife, had
found
kids.
A wife, had some kids. Yep, changed neighborhoods, and our neighbors turned out to be runners, right? So, and I was about 225 pounds, and I was chewing tobacco, and I wasn't drinking anymore, but lazy. I was very happy in life, right? Everything's
complacent,
good. Oh,
right?
yes. So, and Shayna was working on me to go run with the neighbors. And I'm like, I'm not. So anyway, they finally got me out there, and we walked. It was 3.6 miles. I still run that same run, 3.6 miles, and it was miserable. We walked 10 times.
And these guys are runners.
Well, these guys are, they run, now they don't weigh 150 pounds, but they log miles, and running was their exercise, and they were running 2 or 3 times a week. So I say they're runners.
More runners than I am.
Yeah, and I mean, whatever. It turned out it was pretty miserable, but I don't know what happened, but it just grew, and and then I'm out there running for time and trying to beat my mile time and 2 miles, and can I do 4 without stopping? And so it went into I ran my first marathon, I think in I think it was half marathon, like in 2010. And one of my neighbors was with me, and I felt really bad because we had trained for that thing. And at the I'm like, come on, let's go. And I just ran off and left him. And I finished like 15 minutes in front of him. And he's like, wow, where'd you go? You ran off and left me. I was like, because it was one of those things. I never planned or trained for anything like that. I was ready mentally. I was like in attack mode, right? So it was a cool deal. But it just, when I got out of hand, it was crazy. There was no run that I didn't, wasn't afraid of. I had some horrible experiences, but nothing that didn't interest me anymore. So it just grew. Next year I tried for the marathon the very next year, but it was a lottery the very next year. It was 2010 or 2011, whatever the following year was, and I didn't get picked. So then I started doing other things. I started CrossFitting about that time. Still like to run. CrossFit was maybe 2011, and then it got to where, you see all these guys on TV, and so that was, that was a driving force. You want to go exercise, and cool folks. So here at CrossFitters, the same thing. You got a cool community. Mm-hmm. So once you get in and you start seeing some results, it's it's like leaving your family. You just don't. So everything that just kind of grew, and then I was running and CrossFitting, and then our whole family, all 5 of us, would go to the CrossFit gym together.
Which I think is so special.
Oh, it's awesome.
To see parents with all their kids, now adult kids, but
right,
still,
right.
Even like a few weeks ago, watching your son cheer on Bryce, your other son,
yeah, right.
in the open. You have mom taking pictures and dad judging somebody. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Just because it's a way of life now, right? Is what you realize.
Yeah.
And you're helping the young kids all the way into their late adulthood. I just think think it's so awesome. It doesn't happen very often, right? So you are very lucky to have a whole crew.
Yeah, and now you see some of the smaller kids that, like Emmett. I mean, he's going to grow up in this gym, and he's not going to know any different. He's not going to know about, lounging on the couch. He's going to be here. These young kids are already pulling up on the rings and doing stuff. And so it's like we're phasing out the
sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah, just kind of in a natural way, which is the way it should be.
I agree.
Would be naturally without all the big screen TVs, and then we'd be out there climbing, running, jumping. That's just what we do, So.
Yeah. So you transitioned from being a runner into a CrossFitter and into both, because we love titles in this community. But really, at the end of the day, you're just exercising to keep yourself healthy. And primarily, from what I can gather from talking to you and seeing you when you work out, it's kind of like a therapeutic, quiet time for Randy. Randy's life is very busy, wouldn't you say?
It can be, and that's exactly what all this is therapy. And I think even for someone that's not going through what I went through, you can check out of the traffic, the chaos at the grocery store, all that stuff. You can just come here and something happens and you leave a better person. And I like to say this balances me chemically some sort of way. I don't know that, I'm not a doctor, but it keeps me sane. Well, my definition of sane.
I was going to say, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people use it, and I found CrossFit because I was stressed out at work.
Yeah.
I was working 12, 13-hour days, and I needed an hour by myself where not a phone rang, not somebody tapped me on the shoulder, not a customer came in the door. I was like, I need 1 hour.
Yeah.
Some moms go sit on the toilet and hide, and I was like, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
So, and it's not just because going to a Globo gym and putting on headphones and not socializing, that doesn't generate the dopamine that we need by being with a community.
Yeah. You're still somewhat disconnected from.
Totally.
You're not, and I guess you could come here and be disconnected, but not with the folks we have here. You're gonna get to say something that's bothering you, or you're gonna kind of relax a little because the people here are the same as you. We're all here just trying to. So that's a cool deal. I don't think the outsiders that say this is cultic and chaotic and too extreme and way out of their league, it's because they haven't been here is why they say that.
It's true. And on last week's episode, I talked to Josh about our core values, and that was the one thing that we were talking about, is this gym for everybody? And he said, no, but if you are trying to survive after a divorce, get yourself healthy, find self-confidence, be like a part of a community that you've never been a part of, then yes, our gym is for you. Yeah. So no, it's not for everybody, but I think that describes a general population within our community, right?
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. Some people you can't please. It doesn't matter what you do and how cool it is. They're going to find a way to bail. Sure. So, okay, well, that's fine. You can't do anything about that. But like for me, I've been a member of 3 CrossFit gyms. One, this is how I know it helps me. I got moved out of town to work in 2013. The first thing I did was find a CrossFit gym and join a membership. So I'm out of town paying membership here and paying a new membership more than what I was paying in town because I knew that I still needed to have that place, leave work, go there. And I'm still friends with those folks. This is Austin. The average age, and I don't know, these are just numbers I'm coming up with. Okay, so these guys are 20 to 26, somewhere there. I'm 44. But same as here. I mean, everybody's the same. Everybody's working out. Everybody's trying to get better. I was the old man. The gym owner was my age. But most of his clients were a lot younger, and it was just cool. Everybody's there, flipping tires, whatever, sledgehammers, running, the same old stuff. So good stuff.
And I think we have created quite the community here with all the different offerings that we do have. I know Josh is very clear about saying we're all just working out, but we do have different niches for accommodating people on all types of exercising. But what I do love about the Phoenix program is that it brings in a different aspect rather than just the physicality, but it really helps you bend your mind, right? I know you can talk about the icebreakers and stuff and how it's not mandatory, but I do think, just based on observation, is that it really helps members just open up a little bit more about personal stuff that you would never know was going on. Like a member that talks about their kids that you didn't even know had kids and was having a hard time getting parental rights with the kids, right? And you're like, holy cow. So talk to me about how let's go back. I'm going a little ahead of myself, but as far as the Phoenix, how did Phoenix come to Stonecutter?
Okay, so your mom, 30 years sober, Josh 12, me 17. No idea that we have that story, right? We're just going to the gym. Josh is working out. I'm here, working out. And Terry said something one day about her sobriety, and we got into it. And Josh was there, and we're like, oh, wow, that's okay. That's cool. Good for you. It's really awesome. Your mom has a really awesome story. And I swear to you, 2 days later, 3 days, that week, she found the Phoenix. Somehow, scrolling, Facebook was listening or something.
No, we were actually watching a podcast, CrossFit headquarters.
Oh, nice.
We were watching it. And then, like a few hours later, on her Facebook, it popped up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so weird that we all end up here, and then we announce that to everybody. Because I didn't go around, announcing my sobriety or whatever. But it's just weird. We had that this cool little gathering. We all told our stories, and then just a few days later, she found that video, and I watched it. I said, you know what? We're going to shoot them an email, see what happens. That'd be cool, something for us to do. We have all these folks, the owners, 12 years sober. So it was kind of weird in the beginning. They were overwhelmed, I think. The Phoenix was, because it wasn't like, I think they were just busy. Yeah. And so once we started communicating, it took about 2 months. They had a guy here. We did some training. Well, first we did some training over the phone. They sent a guy out. He's like, yeah, you guys are good to go. And boom, here we are. We're full on Phoenix free workout for anyone clean and sober for 48 hours. And so far, I think it's awesome. I think there's a lot of folks that are benefiting from. Even folks that aren't, like you said, you hear some stories, you're like, wow, because it gives you a little perspective. You don't have to be an alcoholic or an addict to have trouble and be struggling in the world, and to, for someone to hear your struggles and you be able to say that, just get it off your chest, just let it go. So stuff like that is pretty amazing. People come here, and like yourself and Leo and Roberta and Bruce, that always support that. Every week you guys are here, and I don't know. I think it's amazing. It shows how truly are the human beings how we can be, and legit. That's what we're made to be, is help each other. And so yeah, so far good. That's kind of why I'm a little more involved. It's kind of a calling for me to get off the bench and do something a little more than just be here.
You think Phoenix was the reason why you went and got your level 1 cert?
Yeah, 100%. When we started, when we started talking to those guys, I told Josh one day working out, I said, you know what, I'm going to get my level 1, and I want to help with this program. And he's like, man, heck yeah, we'll do whatever you got to do, And the Phoenix actually paid for my level 1. I sent them sent Nate. Nate Hamilton is our contact. He's I don't know his official title, but I sent him an email and said, hey, Nate, I'm thinking about, there's a level 1. getting my level 1 to help with Josh, because Josh, I don't want this to be a burden for Josh. He doesn't say no to anything, so any kind of anyway. So
and one of the standards for the Phoenix program is that the coach must be clean and sober, correct?
Yeah, that's a requirement. So me and Terry and Josh, and now also Darren has been trained, but that's a requirement that you do their training, and that we're offering CrossFit classes. Now that goes into the CrossFit requirements of having a level 1 to run the class, and to so we just want to be covered. But I didn't want Josh to be put in a position to where he couldn't offer those classes because he was the only one certified and he was out of town or whatever. Yeah, and I sent Nate an email, and he's like, "Oh, dude, well, you find a class, and I'll just call me. I'll give you my credit card." So this is a true story. I got off the phone with him. I looked up CrossFit Level 1 seminars, and 2 weeks out, there was one right here at Champions.
Oh my gosh.
No lie, yeah. So I called him back and said, "Hey, I found a class. It's right here in town."
Take too long.
Yeah, and he's like, "Here you go." And we signed up, and all is history. So
yeah, that's fantastic. So now that you're level 1 certified, I got to take your first class. I was very happy to. I felt honored to be the first person.
Thank you.
How did the first class go for you? So the Phoenix program is every Friday at 5:30. Typically we have 10, 15 people.
Right.
We open the class with an icebreaker.
Right.
Not mandatory, but it's just a simple way to go over the community standards, which there are in addition to our core values for the gym.
Yep.
The Phoenix has their own set standards for the community, and then we open it up with this icebreaker, which is sometimes light, sometimes heavy.
Yep.
And it was a Wednesday night. Hey, Randy, can you do Friday?
Well, the first class, yes, Josh is like, "Okay, Randy, Friday I'm gonna let you run the class." It's like, okay, well, that's cool. I can do that, And and I appreciate everything Josh does, because he may not always think, "Man, he doesn't know what he's doing. What is this guy doing?" But I totally understand. And your comfort zone it's cool. Your comfort zone is cool because everything feels good. But what's cool about it is when you step out of that, you're uncomfortable a little while, but then you expand that comfort zone because you just realize that, well, I can do something different. So anyway, so he says, "Randy, you got the class on Friday." I'm like, okay. Well, he let me do some of the programming, and I submitted some workouts and some warm-up stuff, and he approved everything and whatever, and 28 people show up. What was it?
It was a lot of people. It's like
and
the biggest class we've ever had.
I'm totally lost. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm like, what the heck? I got everybody in the tiny little part of the room, and we're all holding hands and square dancing and whatever, but we made it. It wasn't the end of the world. And let me pop open this Fit Aid if you can see that right there. Just in case anyone from Fit Aid is listening.
Of course.
Yeah, so the very next week was, I'll get this wrong, but this happened. It was either the very next week or the week after. He says, no, it was. He says, text me on Wednesday or Thursday. "Hey, Randy, I'm not going to be here on Friday. It's all you, buddy." Okay, thanks, Josh. So, it's cool. It all worked out, and that's exactly what I signed up for. I wasn't complaining. At the time, it was very uncomfortable, and I still a little like. I just have a certificate. I've never coached in my life. What's cool is the people that are there, they all want to be there. I chose to be there. So yeah, I may screw things up, or I may say something wrong or get something wrong, but we're all working for a common goal. We're here to get better. We're here to support the Phoenix and grow a little bit and move on. So it's all cool. It's just funny that he just really quick to shrink that the comfort zone. Like, okay, Randy,
yep.
Here you go, buddy.
Why wait, right?
Right, yeah, there you go.
You're wasting another week if you.
That's right. they can't see, but it's those
Who is
the other twinsies are out there, Roberta and Bryce. That's right, trying to distract us.
Yeah, they wish they had as cool of a topic as the Phoenix to be ahead
right.
of, so that they could be in here and talking on the podcast, I think. Well, I think it's an sometimes unthankable job, what you do for Phoenix and how much you do give. And I don't know if members really understand how much time you give into the Phoenix program and how much effort you really give and how much you take it seriously. And I know the goals you have in your mind for Phoenix and how you're going to grow it and what you want to do in the future. But I think it takes a special person to really own the Phoenix program. And I think you do an excellent job with a healthy balance of making it fun and light, which is naturally who you are anyways.
Right.
Kind of silly, kind of goofy.
Yeah.
If I screw it up, oh well, we'll move on, right? You don't take things too serious.
Right.
And also, I think you have a good, healthy balance and be like, yo, like, sobriety is important. And I'm going to hold you accountable to that. Yeah. And if you need a man to hang on and get you through the next day, then call me. But I'm not going to, like, hold your hand and make it really light and fluffy, because it's not. Sobriety is a tough situation, coming from a house that was raised on the 12-step program.
Right.
This Phoenix program, I can see, is keeping people sober. Yeah. And I know you can probably think of some members too that I think that this program has completely made a difference for. I hope other people that need it come into and realize that it is a safe zone. It's more safe than our actual community. Our community is safe for fear of failure, fear of being judged, whatever. That's the safety. Once you walk in these doors, it's safe. And then Phoenix is, again, another safe zone, right? 2 layers of safety. Right. And I think that comes with those community standards. I mean, I always find myself checking myself, being like, "Oh, was that a curse word that came out?" Like, I don't want to offend anybody, right? Like, I take those seriously.
Yeah, and I was a little confused because I'm living in my little bubble, and you kind of forget. We do that with everything in life, and hold on a second, maybe what I just said was a little offensive, and and I'm not one of those that just always walk on eggshells for hurting other feelings, but really that can be. I don't know what triggers this other person. I don't know what gets them angry or frustrated, and when they leave here, they go straight to the bar. I don't know that. So obviously, the Phoenix has done this for 12 years, I believe, and it's working. It's structured. It's all laid out right here. We promise to follow these rules. That's what we're going to do. And sometimes it is uncomfortable, but hey, if it keeps somebody from getting in their car after drinking a case of beer, or it keeps them from drinking that case of beer, then I guess we did our job for today. But I think this touched me so much because I was so quiet for so long. I was just 17 years sober, and that was it. And I thought, well, I meet all these people at the gym. Who knows what these folks are struggling with? Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I got so connected, because maybe I felt a little, I don't know, maybe I was being selfish for 17 years, that I wasn't stepping out, and I could have been, what I'm saying? I could have been helping someone. So I think that maybe why I'm a little more passionate than, but it's good. It's a good program.
Well, they say you're never done working your own sobriety, right?
Right.
And one of the steps is to help the community, right? Help somebody within, I don't know the actual words of the steps, but I know that there is one about helping sponsor somebody, keep somebody sober, giving back to the community. So are you clean and sober 17 years? Yes. But are you necessarily done with your steps? No. Maybe this is that step for you. Maybe that's why the Phoenix program definitely strikes a chord with you, because you see that that's the one final piece to making sure that you complete all of them. I don't know how you got sober. I don't know if you are a 12-step follower. My mother recites them all of the time. That's why I know them.
Hey, whatever works. And the Phoenix there's no one path to sobriety. So true. Whatever works. And that's for life, right? Whatever gets you from today to tomorrow, we're all trying to get better. So however you do that, just get better.
Yeah, I just had that conversation with a lady today at my office about nutrition. I was like, it doesn't work for everybody, but the fact that you're conscious of it, measuring and weighing is a good start.
Right.
But whether you want to eat organic and I want to eat whole foods or whatever,
right.
we're all trying to get this path, navigate this path of life. But
effort. You do have to effort.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as next, what's next for Phoenix? For Randy and for Phoenix?
Well, I need to become a coach. I need to learn more about reacting with people, watching people, being a coach, not just someone in the room who got to write on the board before the class started.
How are you going to do that?
I'm gonna continue this, and still I study and I see, and you try to learn about CrossFit. All that, there's so many tools on the internet beyond the whiteboard, and just all the podcast. There's Josh, listening to Josh, other coaches, watching other coaches, watching athletes. Mm-hmm. Athletes are the ones they give you all the cues. They tell you everything that needs to be fixed. So knowing how to say that where they can understand, because some folks we had this talk. Elite athletes. I've done this 1,000 times. I don't need you to tell me how to do an air squat. I don't need you to demo all that stuff. Well, you know what? You probably do. Just a little bit. There's always something there that we can fix. Yep. So stuff, just constantly trying to get better will help me, and repetition, keep coming back, keep working. But I do have some ideas that I'd like to do, and I think that, I'd like to run like an endurance program here, and whether it's through the Phoenix or just through Stonecutter, I've talked to Josh about that, and I think it's the training for that will help everybody. Your fitness is a measure of all your strengths and all your weaknesses, right? And it's just an average, right? So when you raise those weaknesses, or when you strengthen your weaknesses, you become more fit. And my wife, she does not like to run. Her and your mom, they just ran a 10K.
Crazy.
I think Shayna ran a mile, somewhere around a mile in her training, maybe a mile and a half. And she didn't blaze through the 10K, but your mom, I told her, she fourth in her age group, and I think she was 81 out of 200 and something. 85, something like that. And I know your mom ran more, but still, I don't know, things like that fires me up, because I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. So
have you ever heard of Chief Keef O'Keefe? He's the running guy that does all the games athletes. They call him Chief. And he's like some running guy that he's not some running guy.
Right,
he's
right.
Like a really famous guy, but originally, before anybody knew him as Chief, his name was O'Keefe, and he's taken these games athletes and changed their endurance.
I know
that
about
could be you.
Henshaw. I know that guy.
Yes,
he's
Henshaw too.
Yeah, he's done a lot of. Well, let's not get crazy. Because those. Because no, I do. I really do. And and like so. Every athlete, I can tell you what I've done, and it's not always been right. But to go run, even for a marathon, to train 27 miles, go run a marathon, I didn't walk. Oh well, I did. I walked the bridge. There's a big bridge before the turnaround, whatever. I walked that bridge because, like in the trail running that I do, 50 milers, 100K, whatever, I tell myself before I ever start, I'm walking every hill. Because it saves so much, especially like on the back end. If you're the front end, if you go out running, whatever. Well, anyway, so during that, just think simple things. There's so many things that just from what I've done to tell the next guy to say, and that's really the only tools I have today. So going forward, stuff like that. My training program's not the best, but I know that I did just start running again. I ran 8 miles since Saturday.
Just because you want to start running again, or what's the deal?
It was the 10K with your mom and Shayna. I'm like, oh man. I don't have anything. That was the last race that I had signed up for. I had signed up for 100K, and she said, well, I would run a 10K with you. So secretly, I signed her up, and then I downed mine. I moved my race from the 100K to the 10K.
Just took a 0 off.
So I said, okay, we're going to run this 10K together. She's like, what? So that was the only thing I had on, because I wanted to take some time off and do Phoenix, just come here and work out and figure out what's going on. So, but yeah, I just got kind of fired up. When I told you, I don't like to run. But when the challenge is there, when you have a challenge of, if you put the mark down, you lay it down, say, oh, can you do 100 burpees in 30 minutes or whatever it is. Man, okay, well, Josh did them in 25 minutes. Okay, so everybody's challenge is different.
Yeah.
So, and some of us, whether we like it or not, when we accomplish goals, that has an effect on us.
Yeah.
And when
for sure.
So that's my thing is I realized I was missing a little something that I did enjoy, and it was time to get back out there. So.
Would you say that you're more like your son or more like me? Because you know how Bryce says he hates training, but he likes to show up to compete. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good competition, but I really love the process. I really love watching the process go down and committing myself. Like when you say laying it all out, I really like I could tell you my entire journey from last February to now of trying to do this games thing.
Right.
And the process is a lot more invigorating. Like you said, being able to say I couldn't do this and now I can, or it creates something inside that makes you hungry for the next day.
I don't know, because I trained for a marathon, my first marathon, and ran every other day for 6 months or however long it was. And when I finished, I was very disappointed.
Disappointed in what?
It seemed like I had trained to climb Mount Everest, and what I accomplished was just a 4-hour run. I was done. We were drinking chocolate milk, and I felt like, you know what I mean? I felt like the training was so heavy to do that. It didn't balance out for me. But I tried to break 4 hours for 4 or 5 races and was always short. 4:05, 4:18, 4:13. And I really focused in one year and changed my training, and I ran 3:57. So that when you see that your training actually got you where you wanted it, that was a little different. So, but it's a 4-hour run. I don't want to kill myself for 6 months for a 4-hour run.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Entirely.
And this place, people, well, you're doing CrossFit. That doesn't help you run. Well, I'm telling you.
It does.
I'm 200 pounds, never been, not a runner. And I can run a marathon. I could run a marathon tomorrow. Now, I wouldn't win it.
Sure, but you could survive. And do it.
Yeah.
Right, almost.
Right.
As well as people that have been training, probably, I bet.
Well.
I mean, that's why you did the 55-hour crazy snow drop, right? You didn't train for that. And you crested 100 miles.
115 miles, yeah.
Yeah, I won't short you a mile.
Yeah,
115
no,
miles.
I earned those, and I ran the last 15 smiling.
Yeah.
That was a big deal, but that's an awesome call. So you got kids, some that are still here and some that aren't. Their posters are all along the track, and that's a lot of motivation, to.
Is it enough motivation to ride on for 55 hours though?
Yeah, while I was there, because I talk to everybody, and one of the photographers is, every time it's 0.697 miles. It's a tiny loop. Yeah. So you see people constantly. You just see them. And one of the photographers, I'm joking with him every time I come around. Well, the second night there, he asked me, people were starting to hit their 100-mile mark, right? So I came around and he said, hey, will you bring another sign out? There's not a whole lot of signs at the finish. When they're taking the finish, photos, there's not a whole lot to see. So I said, yeah. So, and I've already seen all these signs, but when you start looking for one, you're like, okay, I need to bring the right one back now, right? And how do you choose, right? Well, it was really weird, and I hope I don't get emotional. The one I found was Hunter, and Hunter wasn't here anymore. And the more I thought about it, everyone out there was hunting for something. And it was just kind of, it was the perfect sign. And I come around and I'm crying, and I'm bringing him the sign in. And I was like, man, don't ask me to do that again. Here's your one sign. Get someone else to find that, And so it is very motivational to go out there and keep running. I think we don't realize what we have in our tank.
Yep. So it's true. We had that discussion when you and I, oddly enough, were doing Chad.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
The 1,000 box step ups, when we were talking about your body and how much we think we need to quit because it hurts, and how the pain doesn't get any worse than the actual pain, right? Our body doesn't get more painful. It's just pain. Yeah. And it's our mind that's actually convincing us that it's time to stop. Yeah. And in reality, that's just not an option, right?
That's right. And some folks can, once you realize that the pain is there, it's not growing, it's not changing, it's just there. It's no different than doing one push-up. When you do one push-up, you feel the stress on your body. Okay, well, I can do another one. But it's that level of, well, I can keep running. Yeah. Or I keep hiking, or keep stepping on the box. And I think there's a ton to learn from that. And how far, everybody's different, but everybody, everyone here says, oh, I'm going to die, I'm dying. I've done this since 2010. I've never, ever seen anybody pass out from doing these watts here. Never.
Me either.
So you're not pushing, well, I'm not going to say you're not pushing hard enough, but if you push too hard, that's never happened. So, so we all have a little extra.
I know I was reading an article about our brains and how we actually only utilize like 28% of the capacity to convince ourselves. Like, we use more brain power to convince ourselves we can't do it than the actual capacity left over of like, oh, I can actually do this, Yeah. And I just find it really interesting over the course of a marathon, right? Like, I tell myself I would never do it, right? Not because I can't do it. I know I can do it.
Right.
I just don't know what I would do for 4 hours in my mind. Like, there's so many mind games you can play with yourself. Yeah. Maybe it's similar to meditating, right? Because sitting, you have to sit still and be, right? Similar to running. But the thing I always rely on when I'm trying to play mind games with myself is my breath. Yeah. Because there's no question about what it is, right? It's in and out, and that's it. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. Right.
There's no judgment about it. It just is what's happening. So that's like the thing that keeps me going.
Yeah, there's 100 things that go through your mind. You want to quit, and you're gonna finish. No, I'm gonna finish, or I'm not gonna finish. I want to go do something else. I just want to stop. And
yep, I could never go down that path.
Yeah, I learned something. I ran with Jacob Stevens on February 4th, Rocky 100. I paced him, is what they call it. I just ran the last 30 miles with him, and he had ran 50 miles in like 9 hours and some change. He was running really fast. So I got there and we ran a few miles, 8 or 12 miles, and maybe it's 8 miles, and something happened. I don't know if he just hit the wall, but he was in a very bad place. And I've quit a 100-miler before at 60 miles, and I was still walking, but my mind I just said I'm quitting. That was my only option for myself. Well, when I was running with Jacob for 11 hours, we were together. He slept 2 times, maybe more. He leaned on the tree that had fallen over. He might have fallen asleep, I don't know. But 11 hours we were together. He slept in the woods, on the leaves, twice. Once in a hammock, once in a chair, once in the leaves. Gone. Didn't remember. There was one 4-hour window. He has no clue what happened, and he never ever mentioned that he wanted to quit. And so I asked him. I was like, dude, we're all sitting around. I'm going, you never ever. He's in a horrible place. He didn't even know who he was. I'm carrying him at one point. His arms wrapped around me. We're walking on the trail in the middle of the woods. So anyway, I asked him. I said, okay, how do you do that? How did you? And he told me that he had meditated and he programmed his brain that in those situations the only option is just to keep going, just to keep, never, maybe take a break, but never quit. Quit never ever came up. So when we get uncomfortable, we've already programmed ourselves. Oh, let's take a break. Let's just set it down. And our body, of course, wants us to live. It doesn't want us to be uncomfortable. But so I think we have a choice of how we program that and how we, if you purposely, program it that way. You have to consciously say, okay, I'm going to work on my mindset.
Yeah, he trained that way, right?
Right.
He was conscious that could occur, so he trained his brain that way. Which I think is similar back to the Phoenix on sobriety, right?
Right.
Sobriety is one day at a time, sometimes one breath at a time, right?
Yeah.
And anytime you want to quit or relapse or whatever, go to the bottle, it's back to just this one moment, right?
Yeah.
Just this one rep, just this one stride, just this 1 mile, if you can think that far enough in advance, which it's so relatable to normal life, right? Like this training, quote unquote, we're doing at Stonecutter within any of the programs really is applicable to our lives, which is why I think Phoenix does so well, because we are actually helping people. I've had multiple moms. I've overheard them talking about how this is the hour that helped me not kill my kids in the weekend or whatever it is. Not like literally kill them, but it's the only time that they can actually focus on themselves. And I think it's attributed to the quality of coaching and the quality of the space you give everybody as the coach of the Phoenix program.
Yeah, and I think I think everybody, whether it's you're attending a Phoenix class or a regular CrossFit class, I think everybody, whether they know or not, gets a little bit of that. Like we talked about earlier. We don't call it. There's no counselors at the Phoenix. There's no counselors at Stonecutter during the 530 WOD. But you're getting some therapy. You're getting some type of stress relief. So yeah, I think everybody should. I just think we got out of that phase of, chasing down your food, the labor that takes to live in the world without all of our, cars and air conditioning, and there's so many things that make us comfortable. You have to come here. Your body needs to go through all that. Yeah. And the Phoenix though. We've had folks here that never even been in a gym. Sam had never even been inside of a gym.
And isn't even a member of the gym besides for that program.
I think he's talking to Josh. They're trying to work something out. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So.
People have never lifted anything in their life.
So you come here and you get a taste of that. Plus, you're more stable in your sobriety. You're around folks that are more stable in their sobriety, and you get a little bit of therapy through physical fitness, and then you got cool people to hang out with afterwards.
Yeah, let's talk about the afterwards. Your crew, man. Oh my gosh.
It drives people insane, huh?
No, it doesn't drive us insane. I think Papa Josh really likes to look outside, when the summer time comes, people outside on the curbs eating their food and talking. And Phoenix literally is not 5:30 to 6:30. It's like 5:30 to 8:30. Their classes are going on and y'all are still outside. I think that speaks volumes of the community.
Oh yeah, I think it's awesome. And we all need that. We all need our tribe. What's the old saying? It takes a tribe to raise a family.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village. Yeah, and that's true. Think about that. So what are the other things you're missing out on? That is being able to relate to people and remind yourself that your situation isn't so bad, because this guy doesn't even have his kids. I have my kids with me every day, or when I did have them. So yeah, or even just your wife, or a job, or whatever it is.
Food to eat.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
don't
Just,
have even too much to eat off of.
Yeah.
So I think it's an awesome program, and I'm excited to see what's to come next.
should be fun. Yeah, I don't.
Scary.
Well, I don't know that it can be. The Phoenix can be the endurance program, because so many, because it has. I think it has to be. And maybe I'm looking at it wrong, because CrossFit is for anyone. And like with what Josh's plans, I think Josh is very open to whatever people, whatever we want to put on the floor. People are coming. We're the same philosophy. We can scale for anyone. Doesn't matter fitness. So really, that's what it should be. The first Phoenix WOD, I emailed Josh. I texted him and said, hey, let's make this big, badass WOD, something we can do every year. It's going to be like killer, like a mile run and all that. And he comes back with some sled push, and I'm like, what the heck is that? But then I started thinking. I said, that's exactly right. It's not about this WOD. It has nothing to do with that. It's about us getting in here, clearing our mind, staying safe. We're not at the bar. We're not getting drunk. We're not getting high. We're building this community, and we're going to bullshit a little bit afterwards, and we'll go back home, and we'll come back next week and do it. So that was really cool for me, because I'm just this guy excited. We're going to do something all hardcore, and no, that's not what it's about. That may get that way, because Burpee Mile could, not for Phoenix, but it could be something outside of here. Because
talk about one extreme to the next. Yeah. Burpee Mile. Don't see.
Well, your mom is, and I knew she has that in her, and we all have that in us to do something. Why do we climb Mount Everest? Why would anybody do that? Because it is so difficult, and we know it can be done. We want to be the guy who reached the top. Yeah.
Well, it's the same reason as to why I'm reaching the goals I'm reaching for.
That's
right?
it. That's right.
Because not everybody wants to.
That's
do it.
right. Yeah.
Well, everybody wants the fame of doing it, saying that they did it, but nobody wants to do the process of what it takes to do it. You just don't pack up and climb Everest.
That's right. And who the outcome in the end, no matter what, no matter you make it to the mountain or not, you're going to be a better person, because you had goals, long-term, short-term, and you worked your tail off to get there. So it may completely lead you down another path, whatever, who knows. But every day, trying to get better, Burpee Mile, or just regular WOD.
Every day is a better day than yesterday, right? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up with the ending of every episode. We're starting with a moment of gratitude, and then a question from the former guest to you, and then you'll leave one for the guys next week.
Awesome.
So our guest last week was Josh. We talked about core values, talked about the community standards, and his question to you was, and he was very lengthy about it, of course, in his good Joshua way, but I can sum it up of, what's the point of doing it unless you have a reason?
Point of doing anything. If you are a parent, so I had the luxury. I watched the podcast. I got to hear the question last week when we did our trial run, and I totally believe that, because when you make an effort, when you sit down and say, okay, I want to do this program because it's going to help someone, we need to do that more. Everybody needs to do that more, to make a like Thanksgiving Day, serving food to the homeless. I've never done that, but I think that is it's so big to take away from your family and to go down. I hear people do it all the time. That has to be the greatest feeling in the world. Mm-hmm. It's a conscious effort to do something to help someone else. On the other hand, parents, every day, you may not be teaching your kid on purpose, but you're teaching your kids. So yeah, totally. Whether you're getting the reward is written down, or people are watching you, and your kids, of course, you got to be the role model. Myself, you said something to me last week about, what are some things that I had done, and I thought about that, and I don't do anything to impress anybody. Like, hey, I'm gonna go show off how. But when you do stuff like that, people are like, man, that was pretty impressive. And when you're in that moment, it's I just ran for a little while in the woods. So, but I guess what I'm saying is, every effort, consciously, yes, we do need to effort more for the better result in the end. Just make that effort of, yes, I know I'm doing this for the good for someone else, and then at the same time, your other actions that it's kind of the same thing. People are watching. You're gonna affect. Maybe it's not on purpose, but you're gonna have an effect on them. So you probably should effort to. So it's a good result versus the. Yeah.
I like it. Now your guys next week are Bruce Boyd and Travis Enzyme.
Oh, we're gonna have a combo.
We're gonna have a combo, and we are going to be talking about our community involvement and the Murph challenge that's coming up, and all the things that CrossFit Stonecutter has done in the community, whether it's with high school sports, the Silky Challenge, which I'll let them explain, and all of the benefit stuff we do.
So I didn't answer your question. I didn't answer my gratitude.
Yes.
I didn't answer that.
You didn't answer your gratitude. You can do that after, or you can do it now.
Okay, well, remind me, because my memories. Okay, so for my question for Travis and Bruce, wow. Well, we have Bruce, the guy. It's a little older. He's been here, seen it, done it. It's very relaxed. Travis is the gung-ho Spartan racer.
I forgot he does Spartan races.
Okay, I would ask him this. Oh, Bruce, advice for younger athletes, younger families. How do you combine it into your family life, your work life, to get where you are, to make it all work, to get through the years of retirement, stay fit, stay healthy, stay everything balanced. And Travis, plans for your family moving forward. You have some young ones. I know you're very active. How do you plan on keeping your family involved? And are you going to give up on Spartan race, or are you going to have the little ones out there in the mud and climbing ropes and stuff like that? So that would be my questions.
Okay, I'll remind them of that next week. In your moment of gratitude, I have a box in my bathroom that's the moment of gratitude, and it's got cards, and I fill them out, and then I have one by my front door for my whole family. And on New Year's Eve, we read it to recomprise the year.
Yeah.
Something's good, something's bad, and they're dated, and they're really fun to guess who wrote it.
Right.
And like some are really shocker that you're like,
right.
Somebody was actually like back to the whole someone's always watching.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I like to reflect. I think it's nice to give people the credit where it's due. So what's your moment of gratitude?
Probably when we joined Stonecutter, we a lot of boxes are all about making $1, and they limit their access to new athletes. And me and Shanna came over here with Bryce. Haley was gone to college. Garrett came with us, but we had a couple other friends that came with us, Brad and Emily. And we were torn. We were all going to one box. It could have been 20 boxes in the area, and Josh told us to come as long as we wanted. And when we felt like we were ready to make a decision, let him know it was whether it was we were leaving or we were staying. And I think we came here 3 or 4 weeks, and maybe not 4 weeks. I think it was about 3 weeks, and we finally said, "Okay, Josh, we're ready to sign a contract or enroll or start giving you some money for your services." And I'm very thankful that Josh was that laid back and really had maybe we could still 2 years later still be trying.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't care. What do you think of Josh? Can we
sign up now?
Can we sign up now and join a membership?
That's good.
So yeah, that was I'm thankful that they were that patient with us. I say they. Mel was coaching. Josh was the guy we talked to, but it was that moment.
Yeah, I had the kind of similar moment when my old gym was crumbling down and my safe zone was gone.
Yeah.
My moment of stress-freeness was gone, and I was panicking.
Yeah.
And he had that calm thing like, "Hey, if you want to come sit in the corner, come sit in the corner.
Right.
We'll talk in a few months." I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And why is he offering me to sit? It's like, you just need to come and decompress. Come do that.
Yeah.
But I want to work out. It's like, you can do that too.
Yeah, and now it's like, well, you want to? Yeah, you can stop in. It's $20, or you can buy a T-shirt.
Yeah, right.
I know that's a drop in, but still, it's so revolves around $1.
Yeah.
Whatever. So.
Yeah, I like it. I like what Josh is after and the community he's created. So, and you're a part of that community and keeping those standards. So nice job.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here. It's fun stuff. I think it's there's a lot in the future. When everybody's on board, it's not just like the Phoenix where we see people in the class that aren't struggling with recovery, but they are supporting. And it's the same with anything else they do here. We're all in support of it. If a new class comes up or if the weightlifting, everyone supports it. Now we do joke between the two and poke the bear sometimes, but
strong fit people,
the strong fit folks.
He hates it. Josh secretly hates that we make fun of each other.
Yeah.
But it's all fun.
It's all in good fun. Yeah, heck yeah, it's all in good fun. Maybe we should have a little competition between the strong fit, the weightlifters, and the CrossFitters.
I don't want to participate in that one.
Right. We just did that right in the open.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Great. So if we want to find you on social media, how do we do it?
Facebook, and it is the Phoenix, Texas, or Instagram, maybe the CrossFit Stonecutter Instagram. And I am the anti-social media guy.
You're great. You're doing great.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
You're doing awesome.
I had to.
Where you people are.
I took the picture of. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Bruce and Cheryl were on their bikes facing away from the gym.
Yeah.
It was a really cool picture. I took that on my phone, and I couldn't even post it. I couldn't even. Really? I don't even know where am I at, and how do I post it? It was the coolest picture. Ma and Pa.
Kids in your house, they can't help you.
I don't ask for. I don't ask for help. I'm one of those guys. So
those guys, you're paying, for their education. They should help pops out
right.
once in a while.
Well, remember Phil had to get Roberta's daughter to help with the notes.
In 2.5 seconds, she fixed his issue. Yeah. I know those kids these days.
I know it.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to my podcast yet again. Well, it's really Stonecutter's podcast, but to this lovely setup we have here.
It's awesome.
For the second time around. This time, hopefully, you're not sweating to death. We got a little air conditioning in here.
AC, Fit Aid.
Fit Aid.
They lost out. Zevia did.
Yeah, right.
We're stepping up.
Stepping it up a little bit. And for doing it again, because, of course, we know that sad story, and it's hard to talk authentically again about the Phoenix program. So I want to thank you for coming to our...
No, it's awesome. Let's hope that when the Phoenix started, we didn't know, but we knew some other folks were going to be affected by that needed to be in that class, and it was going to help them. And we did immediately, just boom, just by having it, people are stepping out, and so it's a good thing. So good things survive.
Yeah.
And plus we're efforting to grow it, so I think it's going to be a good thing.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being the head of that program and changing people's lives every day and coming to my podcast, episode 2, with
2.0.
Randy Mott. 2.0, yeah. With Randy Mott and the Phoenix program. If you like this podcast, please subscribe. Click the like button below. Comment. Tell how much we love Randy, his sweet t-shirt, and for not fumbling with things today in the microphone.
Josh.
Doing better. We're moving on up. And if you have some criticism, put it in the comments below. We're always looking to get better and push our limits. With that, we're out on Pound the Rock. When nothing seems to help, I look at a stonecutter hammering away at his rock, perhaps 100 times, without as much as a crack showing in it. Yet, at the 100th and first blow, it will split in two, and I know it was not the last blow that did it, but all that had gone before.